Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now May 5th of 2021. Just yesterday on May the 4th was a very exciting day because we got the full premiere of Star Wars The Bad Batch, which really shows us everything related to the post-Order 66 era timeline of the Star Wars franchise. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one exciting factor or aspect of Star Wars right now is that we have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni actively developing numerous TV shows, many that we are currently unaware of, and many that we are aware of. Let's, focus on, of course, what Jon and Dave are doing and exactly how it's going to involve actress Gina Carano as Cara Dune in the new Star Wars franchise moving ahead. And this, by far, I believe, is really giving fans a lot more hope. As I've always said, I always have hope about the future of Star Wars. I'm very optimistic about the future of the franchise, not just because of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, but because these two creators are also going to be hiring other passionate creators to take care of other TV shows out there. After all, Jon and Dave have a lot of control over the new Star Wars lore and the canon that's being inserted into this universe. And I think that's one thing to really take note of and be aware of. Now, when we go ahead and examine what's been happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm, we've talked about this before. Obviously, Gina Carano made it very clear before in the past that, yes, there is a division over at Lucasfilm as a company between employees. This is an actual thing. There's other employees that are in support of Kathleen Kennedy, while others are just doing their thing and are more so loyal, per se, to George, Jon, and Dave. So there is a divide over at Lucasfilm. Of course, like any company out there, other employees aren't necessarily going to like other employees. Now, when we go ahead and examine everything related to this, what's really exciting is that since Kathleen Kennedy lost creative power over many Star Wars projects back in early 2020, it's best described that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been heavily involved and engaged with shows like Star Wars Ahsoka and even Star Wars Kenobi in order to create a successful Star Wars universe moving ahead. However, it's noted that creator Jon Favreau recently just made a big move for actress Gina Carano, at least for The Mandalorian Season 3, and that Favreau recently convinced many of the higher-ups over at Disney to use a handful of deleted scenes of Cara Dune from The Mandalorian Season 2 in order to place those scenes into the third season of the show. Now, on top of that, it's described also that recently Jon Favreau convinced some of the Disney board members that were previously against Kathleen Kennedy and supported Kathleen Kennedy's decision to fire Carano, and those very board members are now in support of Carano since Jon Favreau convinced them to bring her back in a big way in either Season 3 or 4 of The Mandalorian, aside from her deleted scenes becoming a part of the third season. Now, creator Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are now going to have a major meeting at the very end of this month that will fully discuss Gina's return. However, what is definite thanks to Favreau is that Gina's deleted scenes with Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano will be placed into the third season of The Mandalorian for starters, before they make a big decision of bringing her back on the set of the TV show and more. Jon is said to have been fighting for Gina Carano behind the scenes since he knows so many young girls look up to this character. Kathleen Kennedy, however, is described to be trying to stop this entire process by Jon Favreau of bringing Cara Dune as a character back into play here. Now, let me just say one thing about this that's very inspiring, is that what Jon Favreau was able to pull off was he was able to actually convince many of the board members that were originally sided with Kathleen Kennedy's decision that are now actually siding with Jon Favreau's vision of what should be done about Gina Carano and her character Cara Dune. This is a very interesting development. It's really something that I think a lot of fans need to look up to, because Jon Favreau, at the end of the day, this is a passionate fan, a passionate creator that stands up for the fans. It's one of the main reasons as to why we got what we got in Season 2, is because Jon Favreau really had no limits, unlike with Season 1, which was still good, Kathleen Kennedy still had creative power over that season. Keep in mind about that. You know, Jon Favreau obviously wants to go all out with the Star Wars, even when questioned, alright, when Dave Filoni and Jon were questioned about Season 3, they themselves even said that the Force is going to be strong with that season. And that falls directly in line with the leaks that it's going to heavily feature characters like Ahsoka, Luke Skywalker, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and among others associated with the Force and more, that are really going to give fans, you know, a different and more complex story that's going to be very enjoyable, to say the least. So here's the other thing that I think a lot of fans need to know that's very crucial to Jon Favreau's, you know, push to get Gina Carano back, is that there is going to be a meeting by the end of this month. We're not quite sure about the exact date just yet, but it's the end of this month between Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and the Disney board members. And this is a very interesting process because this is exactly the big negotiation of exactly how Gina would come back once they do actually come to the conclusion and agree to bring her back, is about how would they go about announcing it, how would they go about bringing her back into the TV series, and how much screen time would she really get in either season 3 or 4. Now, for starters, what's really exciting, and this is a big win, is that Gina is already getting her deleted scenes to be placed into The Mandalorian Season 3. So next year, keep your eyes open. You're going to see a lot of deleted scenes of Cara Dune from Season 2 embedded within the Season 3 story. So that's also a very interesting progression, all because of Jon Favreau pushing for this and fighting for this to happen. Now, another thing is that Kathleen Kennedy, at no surprise, is trying to stop this entire process. She is trying to stop Jon Favreau from bringing back Gina Carano as Cara Dune into the Star Wars franchise. And obviously, that's her goal. You know, she doesn't like Gina Carano. She's always had a grudge against her for some reason. And I think that Kathleen Kennedy should really just focus on her Acolyte TV series and call it a day. That's about all I have to say about her, is that that's what she should focus on, see what she can do with that show, which I still believe it's not going to perform well. Again, I can't judge the show just yet, per se. There's yet to be a shred of footage, but from who's attached to the show, what it's about, and how it is confirmed to be a show that's going to actually really push identity politics and really push the concept of activism and throwing in real-world issues, I just think it's going to be a propaganda mess, in my book. So, honestly, I think that the Acolyte TV series, it's not going to be a success, it's going to be a failure. It's going to be Kennedy's attempt at her version of Jon Favreau's Mandalorian Season 2, essentially. So, overall, guys, I think that Jon and Dave are on the right path here. I think it's a very interesting, you know, development right now of what's going on with Season 3 and 4 of The Mandalorian and Gina Carano's return. And a lot more is going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, so we will be going over that. Hope you all enjoyed everything about Gina Carano today. Let me know what you guys think about the entire situation below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.